Jackie.
And I'm Richard.
And we're Early Retirement Wanderlust.
We're 6 months into early retirement, and we thought it was about time to sit down and think about what our biggest fears were about early retirement and see how we're getting on with them.
So one of Richard's biggest fears was whether we would fall out or not when we're retired, because I think at times I can be quite high maintenance.
A little bit harsh.
Okay.
No, it's okay. That's good. How do I respond to that?
So one of our biggest fears about retiring was whether we would get on and whether we would fall out a lot. We've been married for 28 years, but we've never actually spent every minute of every day together.
I think working life's really, really strange, and you spend a lot of time with other people, and actually throughout working life you don't really spend much time with your partner.
Well, we're teachers. We did spend quite a lot of time together, and to be fair, we don't argue because neither of us can be bothered to argue with each other.
It's just too much effort to fall out. So, yeah.
It's nearly 7 months since we retired, and we haven't actually had any arguments. I don't even think I've particularly walked into the other room just because I can't be bothered to argue.
It's just really nice. It's really nice after all these years of looking forward to the weekend and looking forward to the holidays so that we could spend time with one another, that we can actually do that now. And that might sound really twee, but it's the way we're feeling 6-7 months into early retirement.
I mean, we have been busy. We seem to have hit the ground running, and we've never sat still for 2 minutes. So I don't think we've had time to fall out with each other. But we've also, and we'll go into it later, we've also had quite a lot of stressful times in the last 7 months. Obviously, with us retiring, selling our house, being homeless for 14 weeks, moving to a new area where we don't know anyone, and renovating a house, not knowing any of the tradesmen or builders in the area. So there's been lots of challenges, but we haven't fallen out.
And during that time, we have really tried to make sure that we have time together and also time alone as well.
As much time as you can get alone in a VW campervan or living in a 1-bedroom bedsit at the moment because there's nothing downstairs to live in.
Another one of our fears going into early retirement was that we might get bored. And we both did really busy jobs, and we had a lot of mental stimulation during the course of the week, whereas all of that's gone now in early retirement, or we thought all of it had gone.
And at the moment, it's quite hard to judge whether we will get bored because, like I said earlier, we have been really busy with moving and lots of other things. So that's one that we'll probably have to come back and revisit when the house renovations are done and we've stopped doing all of that kind of stuff, because then we'll be together and not have anything that we will have to organise our day around.
I'm being really nerdy. I have a morning routine, and I love my morning routine, and seemingly in early retirement my morning routine is just getting bigger and bigger. So at the moment I've added into my morning routine a little bit of trying to learn French, because I'm fed up of going to France and feeling constantly embarrassed that I can't speak French. And as part of my blogging thing, I'm fed up of typing with 2 fingers, so I'm trying to teach myself to touch type. So that's how sad I am. But it's a way of me keeping myself mentally stimulated and active and trying not to get bored.
Well, Rich is doing all of that. I'm still in bed.
That's fine.
One of our next big fears, I think, is probably about our finances. Would we be okay financially keeping going? Because at the moment we have no income at all, and we won't have for 3 years. We have got a pot of money that needs to last us for 3 years. At the moment we are spending more than we thought we would because we can't get into a routine with all the house renovations. We're constantly having to disappear for a few days in the van. We're using a lot of petrol money, but the finances are going okay.
Yeah, it takes some adjusting, And it was a really quite a scary prospect, giving up a salary and then realising that we wouldn't have an income and having to make what we've got last. But
Yeah, our outgoings are not huge. Our biggest outgoing is a £200 a month to a lockup in Skipton, where most of our belongings are. We're mortgage free. Our electric bills, touch wood, at the moment are still only 120 a month, mainly because half the house hasn't got any electricity. There's no heating, or there's 2 storage heaters that are not using a lot of heating, so that's not too bad. And we've been trying to live on £100 a week for our food. That's been a bit hit and miss because we haven't had a fridge a lot of the time, so we keep having to buy fresh food. What it has made us do is really think twice about things. We do go out and have pints and coffees and cakes because life's too short to not go out and enjoy yourself. But we might not go out and have big meals anymore. We'll cook at home and then go out for a pint. We think twice about whether we need stuff, whether we need clothes, different, like new clothes and things. Of course, buying outdoor gear. We buy lots of new outdoor gear all the time.
But we haven't bought very much since we've retired because it makes you, and it's really quite refreshing to think about each individual purchase as to whether it's a want or a need. And there is a big difference whether you want something and whether you truly actually need something. And we just become a little bit perhaps more mindful about how we spend our money and how we're going to make that money last.
Obviously, at the moment, we're talking about our finances for the next 3 years while we've got no income. In 3 years' time, when we both get our teachers' pensions and our teachers' lump sum, hopefully we'll be laughing. And then in 17 years' time, when we get our old age pension, we'll be as rich as we've ever been.
We know that we're really privileged in terms of being able to access our pension at 55, and that does come at a cost because it's not the same pension, obviously, that it would be if you retired at 65 from teaching, but we did a cost analysis in our own heads as to what we valued more, time or pension, and we value time together.
Yeah, we'll just be glad when 55 comes and we have an income again.
Another worry we had going into early retirement, and I think it's one that probably a lot of people have, is that we would be lonely because we both worked in very busy schools. We had lots of connections in the local area, so we were both members of the gym. We knew lots of people through that. We knew people through the rugby club, the cricket club, and things like that. And we moved away from all of that. And we no longer have that daily contact with people at work. So it is a different position to be in.
It is. Again, because we're still not in a routine, we haven't quite managed to get and do some of the things we want to do, like joining different groups in the local area just yet. We haven't been lonely so far. We chat quite a lot to our new neighbours, who are lovely.
We know that there are networks in the local area that we are going to try and hook into. So I think we are going to try and join the cycling club. And we've already been down to the rugby club to watch the international at the weekend. And it's just ways of putting yourself out there. And I think both of us don't really find that natural.
The other thing is we seem to start having a bit more time now, so we're starting to try and make sure we keep in touch with our friends from home. I mean, eventually when the house is all renovated, we're desperate for people to come up and visit us.
And that's such an exciting prospect, having people to come and stay. And that is probably the thing that's niggling away at us the most, because we're up here in Yorkshire working on our renovation, and there is no way that we can have people to the house yet because we're struggling to live in the house at the moment. And to be able to hook into those old friendships and to keep those connections going, we know that we're really looking forward to that.
So another big fear of ours was about work, and would we really truly miss both the bonds of all the people, the friends that we've got at work, and also the actual daily structure of work.
I was really worried about this because, to be fair, looking back at it, I was probably a bit of a workaholic, and I went all in throughout my career and I did really enjoy my time at work. But I found that I haven't really missed it at all. I've missed the people, and I've missed the students, and I've missed those daily interactions, but I haven't missed the job at all. And more worryingly, I don't know whether I could potentially go back to the job, because my brain has just emptied out of everything that I knew about education. Another one of our fears when we went into early retirement, particularly with the changes that we were putting in place in terms of moving house, buying a renovation project, which is something that we've never done before, was that the renovation could be an absolute disaster.
And actually, when we first got the house, and the first few builders that we had coming round, we had completely different plans to what we've done. But we've seen that as a positive. And actually, I think the renovation is on track, and it's looking good.
Yeah, we're really enjoying the process. It might not always feel like that when we're waking up in a cold house with no heating, but we are really enjoying the process. And I know we've still got such a long way to go, but I think we've got better at coping with what the worst case scenario could be. I think early on in the renovation, we catastrophised a lot.
We did.
And it could be, oh my life, this whole thing's going to fall down. Whereas now, the worst thing that could happen is that we perhaps need to devote a little bit more time, energy or money towards part of the project.
Our last worry, and I think one of the biggest worries, apart from the finances, is actually just, would we be happy?
It was such a big step, and it was such a big step into the unknown, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe we overanalyzed it a little bit, because the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and perhaps we were thinking that early retirement would be all our answers to everlasting happiness, and we are really enjoying things at the moment.
We are. We are genuinely enjoying having lots of time together. We're genuinely quite intrigued and enjoying this whole renovation journey. It's had ups and downs, but it's certainly not affected our happiness.
No, and I'm really happy and content and with what we've got. We are living a simple life, but it's a simple and a really enjoyable life.
And I wake up in the morning and I look out of the bedroom window, and we have got the most beautiful views over the Yorkshire Dales. The sheep have moved down. Hopefully lambing will start soon. What is not to be happy about?
So that's it. Early retirement is a big step, and we wouldn't want anyone to think that you should stumble into this without thinking about your own particular context and whether it works for you. We did do an awful lot of thinking prior to early retirement, but we did, as we've said on this video, still have a few remaining fears stepping into it.
We did retire, or early retire, earlier than we thought we would, so some of those fears were magnified. Nothing's gone majorly wrong. There's been no disasters. Some of our fears actually have just disappeared. Some of our fears are still there. They're still niggling us a little bit. But we just get on with it.
We do. And everything we've done so far in this first 6 months is suggesting that we're going on the right track. And we just keep reminding ourselves, how bad could it be in a month, 6 months, a year? So we've really enjoyed this opportunity to just sit down and reflect, and to just be still for a moment, because we're back on the renovations tomorrow first thing, because we've got an awful lot of stuff to do before we
disappear. We're off to Phoenix next Wednesday, so we've got a busy few days making sure that we've got everything in order for that.
That's it.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.